So as we always do, what I'd like for you to do is, Justin, if you could just kind of give us a synopsis of, your story, the family business. We'll do the 2-minute version because we're going to spend the most of the time talking about that. But how did, give us a little bit about it. How's that?
Sounds like a plan. Well, thanks for having me on today, Michael. Excited to dive into the story. So, my parents started a K&D Landscaping back in 1986, small mom and pop family operation. And we talked a lot about that business today. And fast forward, 2-minute version, right? 2015, I was about 25, 26 in the transition from the first generation to the second generation. And my brother, my sister, and I were given the opportunity to buy into our family business. And I was appointed CEO shortly thereafter. And over that course of the last 5 years, Jonathan and I have been working together, and we've successfully grown the business from, about a $1 to $2 million organization to today, a humming $10 million organization with just about 100 employees. So really an exciting story, a lot of ups and downs, right? It's never this nice vertical growth curve. It's always, you got always these ups and downs and emotions of the family business. So I'm excited to dive into some of that. I live here in Santa Cruz, California. We live right here on the Central Coast. So we do a lot of coastal beach homes. We do maintenance, and we also do industrial and commercial large scale installation, primarily in the public work and prevailing wage sector. So that's kind of our business. That's our little synopsis, and I'm excited to dive deeper into it.
Awesome. Thank you. Jonathan, so as I always say, how did you end up working with family-owned businesses? And give us a little bit about your story.
Sure. So originally from New York, raised in New York, moved to Los Angeles at the age of 20. My family had a very large clothing manufacturing company making men's suits back in Philadelphia and New York. It was sold when I was a young child. My grandparents continued to operate it, but it didn't make it through the 4th generation. There just wasn't enough interest from family members at that point. But it was very large, and so it spun off a lot of money to the children and grandchildren. It gave me a little bit of freedom to get started. I moved to California and bounced around a little bit, got involved in some entrepreneurial ventures, started an art and clothing company. I thought it was going to be very successful, but it wasn't family. And I had a really bad partner choice. He was a reckless user of drugs and other things that got problematic to manage. I went back to business school. I ran into some guy, his name was John Davis. He was working in a corner office, and John Davis, if you don't know him, is a very successful family business consultant who went to Harvard. And I thought, family business, that's pretty interesting. But I knew I was going on the entrepreneur and consulting track, and I was consulting entrepreneurs and built an organization that consulted, trained, and financed entrepreneurs. We grew that to a largest regional company and with a national recognition and brand, if you will. And so I've always been consulting entrepreneurs and family businesses for 30 years. But I started to realize, like, the assignments and the clients that I enjoyed the best were the ones where there were family and there were family issues. One, they were more loyal to their people, and also to their consultants and coaches, and there was more opportunity to work in between the cracks, that the unspoken words that happen between a father and their son, or siblings, and that I could play a good role in that space. So
great.
That's kind of my story. I'm certified in scaling up coaching. I use some of the tools and concepts from EOS, which you're familiar with, and really switched to coaching from consulting in 2004, and it's been a great shift. So that's my business. And also just recently published a book where Justin is featured in the book. It's called Disruptive Successor, and it is a guide for driving growth in your family business. People can find out about it at disruptivesuccessor.com.